You literally have everything you need. What are you waiting for? Why do you keep re-traumatizing yourself with the same old limiting beliefs, the same old toxic patterns, just so you can keep procrastinating, acting on your desires, and manifesting what you actually deserve? Stop it. It's okay to be uncomfortable when you are doing it for the purpose of shifting into a better reality. Oftentimes, we get so caught up in how comfortable we feel with our current reality that even though we know that there is a better option, we keep ourselves in the same situation by constantly re-traumatizing ourselves with the same stuff that already has happened. We've already been through it. We already learned our lesson, but somehow we keep focusing on those things in order to have an excuse in our minds for the reason as to why we're not progressing and why we're not moving forward and why we're not able to actually put in the actions towards our goals. If it's not you, then who? And if it's not now, then when? Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for all the stars to align and your astrological sign to be placed at the right point in time and space and your tarot card reader to give you this result and that. Babe, stop. Okay? All this mystical, spiritual woo-woo stuff, it's so fun, it's so great. It could be such an amazing avenue to explore more about yourself, but you need to stop handing over your power to things that are not you, to things that are not God. Okay? Anything is possible through you and through God. But in order for God to help you with your desires, you need to do something. Okay? I can't just give you the answer, right? You have to look for that answer first in order for me to give you the answer. You have to know what questions to ask in order to get that answer. But if you're sitting here concerned about what has happened in the past or what you perceive to be your current reality, then you're not going to be able to be receptive to these nudges. You're not going to be able to be receptive to that divine assistance that is there for you. You literally don't need to keep waiting. You already have all of the tools that you need. The biggest mistake that you can make is waiting for your mindset to align, or waiting for your faith to be there, or waiting until you don't feel scared. The only time where you will not feel scared to do something is when you've already done that thing before and you know that it's safe. When you're manifesting something new, you've literally never done it before. So how can you expect to not feel that fear? How can you expect that? You don't know that it's safe yet. Your mind doesn't know. Your soul understands that growth is good, change is good, whether it looks bad or it looks good. It's always in the direction of your highest benefit, but your mind doesn't understand these things. So you, as the adult, as the conscious being, as the spiritual goddess or god or king or queen that you are, you need to be the one to say, all right, I know I feel scared, but my love for this desire, my love for myself is stronger than my fear of what could possibly go wrong. It's okay to be afraid. You don't have to wait for the fear to go away in order to do something about it. You just need to do something and the fear will go away on its own. But if you're waiting for you to feel something or feel ready in order to take action, then you're giving your power away to your fear. You're giving your power to something that has no control truly over you, something that doesn't have your highest benefit in mind, something that has really nothing to do with you, right? The fears that we have, oftentimes they're just based off of our previous experiences, and we think that because we're feeling a similar pattern or a similar emotion, that we're going to get that same negative result that we did before, right? When we tried something new when we were 7 and we got called stupid and we got bullied for it. So now we're scared to try anything, right? This is why inner work, journaling, it's so transformational, because you are the power. You can do anything that you set your mind to, but if you don't know the current programs that are controlling your life, if you don't get to the bottom of that and actively choose the ones that are going to serve you, then you're going to feel like your life is almost running on autopilot. You're going to feel like you don't really have any control over your outcomes, and you're almost just like following whatever the external reality is going to throw at you. It's like you're just living your life like a Sims character, and you don't know who's pulling the strings. You don't like this person that's pulling the strings because your outcomes suck, right? But guess who's actually pulling the strings? You are. Because yes, God is God, and God is all powerful, and source energy is there supporting us. But we have to choose, right? We have to make that decision for ourselves. It's not going to just bless us without us asking for it or putting any intention into it or putting any action into it, because how would you even receive that? How would you even receive that? If you can't be grateful for what you have and set your intention to get more, then how will you receive when you do get more? You're not going to feel grateful. You're going to stay in your scarcity and in your procrastination and put your happiness on the next thing or the thing after that, when really all it has to do with is believing in yourself enough to just act. Just do something. Move in the direction towards your goals. Right now, you're at a really interesting point because you can see your current timeline, and you can see how your current habits and thoughts are going to lead you on a certain path. But you can also see a different timeline that is more appealing to you, more exciting to you, but it's also a little bit scary. Because each timeline, whether you're on the highest vibe timeline or you're on the lowest vibe timeline, each timeline is going to have its ups and downs. Each timeline is going to have times where you are blessed, times where you are challenged. Okay, I don't know if it's like, I forgot what song it is, but it's like this one quote in this song, and it goes, "To whom much is given, much is tested." And that's so true. Like, if you expect to receive all these blessings and all this abundance into your life, you also have to be tested to the point where you are so embodied in your abundance that nothing can shake it. So until you feel that deep self-love for yourself, that unshakable love and abundance within yourself, you're going to continue to be tested with low vibe, toxic relationships, toxic people that don't value you, don't commit to you, aren't loyal to you, until you learn your lesson, until that external situation doesn't shake your faith, it doesn't shake your confidence, then you will have moved past that challenge and you will move on to the next level. But as long as you keep letting these things shake your faith, it's gonna keep happening until you become strong enough. This is something that I actually struggled with a lot for mainly my spiritual journey, because I grew up in separate households. My mom and my dad were never married, so I had different experiences growing up. I moved around a lot, and I was exposed to religion as a child, but I never really resonated with it. Like, something about it just wasn't it for me. And it wasn't until probably like 19, 20 years old, maybe a little bit sooner, that I actually started to discover more of like the spirituality side and tuning into that, oh my gosh, God is there, God is supporting me, and it doesn't have to be through religion. I don't have to be subject to the rules and paradigms of any religion in order to be connected to God. I can find that through myself. I can find that through my own journey. I can do that without having to go anywhere or do anything, simply just breathing and feeling that connection. That is when I was really beginning my abundance journey, you can call it, because this is when I was really tested in terms of feeling abundant. So again, like, the money that I was wanting was not going to come to me until I learned to feel it without the money, right? The love that I wanted, the relationship I was craving, it was not going to come to me until I stopped allowing external things to shake the inner love that I know I have and I know I deserve, right? So even though I was on my spiritual journey and I was surrendering to all these teachings and learning for myself how to apply the teachings to my own life, I was still being tested. It was not all butterflies and rainbows. Even now, I'm being tested in different ways, because no matter how spiritually aligned or spiritually awakened you feel that you are, there's always more to uncover. There's always another layer to kind of dig through. And you'll notice this with your triggers, right? So whenever you feel triggered, you can kind of identify like why, and then that just shows you another area of inner work that you get to address. And at this point, it gets to be fun, right? So another time where I was really tested on my spiritual journey was actually last year. This was again where I felt like I was really getting in touch to source. I finally understood like how the world works, why things happen, and I felt very at peace. And then of course, I feel like when you're on your spiritual journey, everyone comes across this at some point where you feel like you have like a confrontation with demonic energy. And when I say demonic energy, I'm not talking about like any religion or any real factual thing. I'm talking about the vibration of it, like the thought of things that happen in the world that are evil, the thought of, you know, thinking about someone's intentions when they're doing evil things and why would they do these things. And obviously in the media, you see a lot of like celebrities pushing that more like satanic kind of imagery. And so all of this kind of culminates to the point where you feel like you finally found God, you feel like you finally found that spiritual connection, and then you get hit with that like satanic panic. It's a funny word for it, but it's like you start to question your spirituality. And at this point, like I was like, okay, do I need to be a Christian? Do I need to like convert to some religion? Because religions base their teachings off of fear. Like, at least that's my interpretation. Like, it tends to persuade you to be a certain type of person with instilling the fear in you that if you don't act in this way, that you're going to be possessed, or that you're going to go to hell, or that you are going to be living with demons or living with the devil, right? There's this concept of the enemy when it really is just like a personification of the collective fear and the collective misunderstanding of evil and projecting your morals onto other people, not knowing their situation, right? So this is not excusing any negativity or any demonic things that are happening in the world. It is simply just something that I confronted so deeply. For me, this was triggered by it's so funny. It was triggered by some new music that had come out last year, and very popular artist, and she just went for it like completely. And at first I heard it and I'm like, okay, like that's a different take on, you know, personal power. All right, okay. Like I was trying not to be judgmental because I was coming at it from a spiritual place, right? But then for whatever reason, that led me into a deep dive into other areas of like certain grids and certain paradigms of people discussing like the devil and like witchcraft and all these things, and very much in a light of you should be scared, you need to protect yourself. And so when I tell you, I felt like I was having a mental breakdown. Like I could not sleep for weeks. Like when I would go to bed at night, I would have to leave the lights on, and like every time I closed my eyes, I would just see like images of things, and it took me a while to overcome that. But through overcoming that, through experiencing that, now the same triggers don't really affect me. Now I know, okay, like yes, I went through that challenge, I went through that test, that was trying to push me back into conforming to religious beliefs and acting out of fear instead of acting out of faith. So once I was able to connect back to my spirituality and my faith, then from there, now whenever I've had the same triggers come up, it's easier to deal with. So like I said, there's going to be times where you are tested and you need to stay connected to that faith. Remember that anything pushing you into fear, it's not for your highest benefit. You should not be in a situation where you psychologically are scared. Like, you shouldn't feel that way. And so if you are feeling that way, it's because you have mixed signals going on. There's mixed energies, mixed points of views coming your way. And this is not to say that you can't be religious or you have to be spiritual, you can't be a Christian or you can't be Catholic. I'm not telling you what to do with your life. I'm telling you that for me, I was happy with my spiritual beliefs. I did not require religion. I didn't want to go into that space. I didn't resonate with that. And yet the fear of demonic energy and devil and Satan and all these concepts, the fear of that put me in such a traumatized state, such a depressed, anxious, like fearful state, that I was willing to turn to religion to kind of shelter me, right, for that protection. It didn't come from a place of me wanting to express my faith through religion. It came through a space of me feeling scared, so freaking scared, that I was like willing to knock on the pastor's door and be like, please let me in, I'm scared. Like, it wasn't like, oh, please let me in, I'd love to learn about this. It was, please let me in, I'm very scared for my life. Like, it was really bad. And let me know if you've ever gone through this journey. I feel like it's almost like a rite of passage because, again, like I said, in order for you to truly be embodied in your faith, it has to be tested. In order for you to truly know that you are confident, you have to be put in a situation where someone is trying to tear down your confidence and you are still confident. That's how you know. Anyone can stay confident when they're locked in their house, off of social media, no one's saying anything, only with their dog, right? So of course you can stay confident, but are you actually confident? You will find out when you do the thing, when you're in the situation, and then do you still feel confident, right? Like, a lot of women are on this like self-love journey and they think that they're like all healed and whatnot, but they're so sheltered. They don't seek out any type of relationships. They don't have friendships that they are regularly committed to. They don't have any romantic relationships going on. They don't have anybody in their life that could possibly trigger them. So of course you are so confident and you are feeling this self-love because you're not seeing any tests. You're not feeling challenged in any way. But then these same healed, divinely spiritual aligned women will get into a relationship, 10 minutes later they're back into their toxic traits. This doesn't need to be you, okay? You need to understand the beauty of triggering yourself on purpose, okay? Because when you choose the trigger, when you say, okay, I know this is uncomfortable, this is a desire or a manifestation that I want, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna put myself out there. I get to choose how I'm gonna trigger myself. And then when you choose your triggers, then you don't have the universe out here throwing triggers at you unexpectedly without you wanting them or asking for them in order to test you, right? You took that responsibility and said, I know that in order to grow, in order to manifest, I need to be tested in my faith. So I'm going to actively test myself, challenge myself, push myself past uncomfortable situations in order to affirm my faith and build my faith and confidence so strong that I can no longer be shaken in my faith. This is something that you can take control of your journey, or you can let the external reality take control of it. But either way, it's gonna happen. Either way, you're going to be in situations where you're triggered. You're going to be in situations where you're tested. You're going to be in situations where you're uncomfortable, okay? Like, there's this one woman that she has been wanting to start her business for so long. Like, when I tell you, every time I've spoken to her, she's always speaking about wanting to do this and do that and earn more money through this and find her creative business and wellness business and all this stuff. but she doesn't do it. And then every so often, she'll post something about, oh, I've been going through this and that, and so I need to take some time for self-care. And it's always that. Like, she's always in self-care healing mode, but never actually doing anything. So in this case, like, don't get me wrong. I'm all about self-care. I'm all about taking time for yourself. But how much of that is you actually taking care of yourself and resetting your energy versus you trying to stay in that unhealed state and looking for more self-care to do so you don't have to focus on the discomfort of putting yourself out there and actually launching your business and actually committing to that business. Because one thing is posting about it every here and there. Another thing is staying consistent and showing up every single day, even when you're not getting that external gratification of likes, clients, shares, engagement, all that stuff, right? So again, like, this is your reminder. Just do the thing. There is no way, shape, or form that you can get around the feeling of discomfort. It's inevitable. You are going to feel uncomfortable. You are going to feel stressed. You are going to feel anxious in some way. Now, you get to choose how you react to that emotion. You get to choose how you react to these triggers. You can take control and surrender to the anxiety, and you will realize that the anxiety will go away. But the more you fight it, the harder it's gonna be. Okay? You need to chill. All right? Chill out, let it go, tap back into your intention, tap back into the purpose. Because the purpose of these feelings of discomfort is to get to a better place, right? It's so you can then live your day-to-day life feeling proud of yourself, feeling like you are doing the right things, feeling like you're honoring your desires and working towards your manifestations in a way that makes you feel good and happy, right? That's the whole point. So if it wasn't worth it, then that's fine. Find something else to do. If you want to stay comfortable where you are because your desires aren't that important to you, fine, good for you. But if you're sitting here beating yourself up every day for procrastinating, beating yourself up for not making any progress, if you're watching manifestation videos, how to manifest this, how to manifest that, and you really are craving this thing, then understand you're gonna have to surrender to the process. You're going to have to allow the trauma to flow through you in order to heal and be that resilient divine being that you truly are, okay? So I know I went a little bit on a tangent in this video. I don't know what brought up all of this stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I feel like it was really important for me to share my personal journey so that you're able to understand that you're not alone. You're not the only one going through it, okay? And just because we're out here with a positive mindset doesn't mean that there aren't times where I'm angry and stressed and annoyed and triggered, but I enjoy the journey. I enjoy that process because I know what's waiting on the other side. I've talked about this before, but polarity is a huge thing, okay? Like, there can't be good without evil. There can't be happiness without despair. There can't be excitement without anxiety, right? It's your job to allow these things to come in and then transmute that energy into something that serves you. Don't let your fear, don't let your discouragement, your imposter syndrome shake your faith, because it's actually a sign that you are doing the right thing and you are going in the right direction. And it's your mind trying to keep you comfortable, but comfort is death. Comfort is, I'm sick, or I want to do self-care today. I'm just going to stay comfortable, focus on my well-being and my peace. Yes, there's days for that. There's a time and place for that, but that shouldn't be your everyday life, because that will just be a life that is disappointing, a life that isn't exciting, a life that you're not getting anything to be happy for, right? So in your mission to stay at peace and stay, positive all the time, you are actually numbing yourself to positivity because you're focusing so hard on not feeling any negativity that all you know is this positive energy, and that turns into neutrality. That turns into nothingness. It turns into pointlessness. It turns into depression. It turns into procrastination, right? So it's the beauty of these negative emotions that will bring us to that higher place that we really want to be. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you resonated, share this with a friend. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. So if you want to connect with me on a more personal level, go check out my Instagram. All right, I love you. I hope you have an amazing day. You got this. Take this as your sign to do something. Get out there. If you feel uncomfortable today, you won.